Alright guys, welcome back. I just recently put together a handful of videos on my Patreon page about parasite cleansing, as well as a very easy way to do it. And, I don't necessarily want to talk about parasite cleansing in this video, but I do want to say that parasite cleansing, if done properly, can lead to drastic transformations in your life, in the way you think and the way you feel. By getting rid of crap inside of your system, folks, by getting rid of the accumulated byproducts of years worth of, garbage foods and all the crap you've eaten, and the creatures, the critters, the parasites that come along with that. When you eat that crap, you get that type of stuff in your system. By getting rid, ladies and gentlemen, of the parasites, the gunk, the funk, all that nonsense, you really can have what feels like a rebirth, so to speak. It's like you get your life back. A lot of people's issues in life are directly related to, if not directly caused by, the lack of health in their internal systems. What I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, is that many people in the United States especially, they're like a car that was new at one point, that never had the oil changed, that never had the air filters cleaned and changed, that never had the brakes bled, that never had any maintenance done. And somehow, some way, that it's still functioning. That's what most of the United States looks like to me, on a spiritual level, when I look at them. They're like nice cars that have never had maintenance, puttering along, barely functioning. They look like zombies, and I hate to say that, ladies and gentlemen, but have you taken a good look around? Have you taken a good look around at people lately? It's not looking too good, folks. So basic maintenance for human health is cleaning the sludge out of your pipes. I mean, it blows my mind, folks, that the average person, for the duration of their life, will drive a car to the mechanic to have maintenance done on it, but they don't think that their own body machine requires maintenance. Now, I guess they do to some extent, because, people go to the doctor. I'm not going to get into that, but people, I guess that's like taking their body to the mechanic for the most part, or their car, going to the doctor, their local drug dealing doctor, but that's besides the point. Doctors are not some just thing that you do. Having your checkups does not just, reverse all of the bad shit you're doing to your health, folks. We've got to create a new system where we depend on ourselves, where we become self-sufficient with our health, where we actually care enough about ourselves to do what's right, instead of living these crazy lifestyles where bad health is the cool thing to do nowadays. It is the norm, ladies and gentlemen, to be a cigarette smoking junkie, alcohol, just all of it. It's venerated on the big screen. It's advertised in children's programs where they make the idiot seem like the cool guy, the stoner at the party, all this stupid Hollywood programming. But that's besides the point, folks. Let's stay on point. What am I trying to convey with this message? The United States can use a good cleanse, let me tell you. Not only on the physical level, but the spiritual level as well. We have got our heads up our rear ends here in the United States. We do. We absolutely do. I'm just observing the matrix, just observing the people, and I'm not trying to sound judgmental towards people, but it's hard to not, notice it. It's kind of hard to doubt the evidence that your own eyes produce when you go out and you see what people put in their carts. And, you see them walking around with canes, overweight, coughing, and, constantly blowing in a handkerchief, sounding sick. Like, it's just like, how can you not put two and two together that stuff in your cart is not producing a favorable outcome? The wrong food groups, exposure to toxic lighting, ladies and gentlemen, all the cigarettes, all the crap, it's really produced the, prototype, or not prototype, it's the American citizen. And don't try to tell me that I'm being judgmental. I'm being honest. The statistics on diabetes, chronic illnesses, mental illnesses, depression, cancers, heart disease statistics are through the roof. Cancer statistics are through the roof. It's just incredible. And if we look at a timeline, ladies and gentlemen, the health statistics went down drastically when modern lighting, or when the light bulb became commonplace. Because for a while when the light bulb came out, you had to be rather wealthy to obtain it. But when big manufacturing facilities and whatnot were able to generate these light bulbs and make them affordable, and when the majority of the United States had electricity, had the capability to keep the lights on, health statistics went downhill drastically. And right around the same time that happened, processed sugars and a lot of processed foods came out at the same time. Similar time frames. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched my videos where I talk about endless summer syndrome, but it's basically, the byproduct of chronic light exposure. It hoodwinks your biorhythms to think that it's actually summer. And what you end up doing, ladies and gentlemen, when you're exposed to light throughout, just constantly, and we all keep our devices on until it's like 10 o'clock, until you go to sleep. But when you're exposed to that much light all the time, you hoodwink your circadian rhythms through the suppression of melatonin and the bastardization of your hormone systems by destroying it with excess light. You hoodwink your biology into thinking into having endless summer syndrome. And endless summer syndrome, ladies and gentlemen, is when your biorhythms believe that it's constantly summer. So you end up craving carbohydrates and sugars to pack on fat for the winter that is never coming because the lights stay on. I hope that makes sense. Read T.S. Wiley's book, Lights Out, Sleep, Sugar, and Survival for more information. Crucial book. And this is largely why people are sick. It's not only the suppression of melatonin and the out-of-whack prolactin and the hormones, the neurotransmitters, but it's also, ladies and gentlemen, the excessive processed carbohydrates people consume, all of the processed sugars. Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that carbohydrates are bad. I'm saying that because we're in a state of endless summer syndrome and because people crave carbohydrates so much because of it, because let's face it, that's what happened with our ancestors. In summer, they would search out carbohydrates to pack on fat for winter so they had insulation. It makes so much sense that it's hard for the average person to grasp and to believe. You crave sugars and carbohydrates regardless of the quality because a certain part of your environmental trigger system, your blueprint, is designed to crave those sugars. Hope that makes sense. It's designed to search out sugars to put on fat through an insulin response, a chronic insulin response. So you look around, in the people who keep the lights on the longest, they're the most obese, folks. So I'm not going to get into that in this video. I've talked about that in other videos. Let's just stay on point. A good cleanse is going to help you. Getting the parasites, the critters out of your system. Cleansing your alimentary tract, which is, if you don't know, the tubing from your mouth to your anus. You've got a lot of tubing in there. You've got a lot of room for all sorts of stuff to anchor onto you and use you as a hotel without having to pay rent. They don't give you anything. They don't pay rent. They take up your space, ladies and gentlemen, and rob you of your vitality. It's kind of like that Tool song, Ticks and Leeches. My blood is bruised and borrowed. You thieving bastards have, I can't remember the lyrics of that song, but it's about parasites, folks. So, again, doing a cleanse, what do you have to lose? So, I have a video on my Patreon page that I just posted. The last few days I've been posting about parasite cleansing. If you're interested in learning more about that, go onto my Patreon page. What do you have to lose? $5? Wow. But getting that stuff out of your system, ladies and gentlemen, the critters, the creepy crawlies, the sludge, and all the other nonsense, it has the potential to really give you a new outlook on life because it'll make you feel better. When you have a bunch of unwanted critters latched onto you in the physical plane, it ruins your life. It's bad enough to have the astral counterparts or critters attached to you on the astral plane. It's even worse when you have them on the physical plane. And if you have them on the physical plane, it means that you have them on the mental plane and on the other more subtle planes, ladies and gentlemen, because the physical plane is where the byproduct of all the subtle levels becoming more condensed and condensed and condensed until it's right here in the flesh. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. Get rid of the bad food, start flushing your body of the nonsense, and take your life back.